Hey guys, this is Ashwin Vidyala here. The big fucking secret. I came across this today and I don't fully understand why what I'm about to read is true, but I want to believe the author. Maybe you'll be able to come to the conclusion yourself. Consider, and this is the concluding chapter of the book. I'm finally almost done with it after a million years because I think I have ADD. I can't read something for too long, so I have to read like 4 books at the same time, and I read 5 minutes of each because I can't read too much. It is what it is. So, consider that you create everything you experience. And the more you take responsibility for what you experience, the more you'll notice you experience situations and circumstances which bend in your favor. Let me read that again. Consider that you create everything you experience. I agree with that. And the more you take responsibility for what you experience, the more you'll notice you experience situations and circumstances which bend in your favor. See, that's what I'm slightly unclear about. The more you take responsibility for what you experience, the more you'll notice you experience situations and circumstances which bend in your favor. The more you take responsibility for what happens in your life, that's what the author is saying. The more you take responsibility for what happens in your life, the more you will experience situations and circumstances which are in your favor. Now, I want to think maybe that's true because once you realize that you have complete creative control over your reality and that you take 100% responsibility for everything that happens in your life, once you come to that point and you experience quote bad situations, instead of blaming somebody else or blaming some outside influence, which is also called mysticism, by the way, but instead of blaming outside circumstances, you blame yourself. And so because of that, when you blame yourself and you realize that, oh, I created this, you will automatically shift your focus. Because see, the situations that happen in your life are just a reflection of your inner being. Sounds mystical, like, as above, so below, as within, so without. What that basically means is everything that happens in your life is a reflection of your inner state in terms of your thoughts and emotions. So your outer circumstance will mimic the emotion you're feeling. So if you feel like shit and you feel angry and sad, the circumstances around you will manifest in such a way that those emotions and those feelings are reinforced and you feel more of that. If you feel happy, blissful, joy, contentment, love, thankfulness, gratefulness, circumstances will come in your life that give you that same feeling. So when you take 100% responsibility for your life and you realize that you are in complete control, and when circumstances happen around you which are not to your liking, you take responsibility for them. And because you are aware that you are creating them, you will shift your focus. Obviously, because you're like, if you've established, yes, I create everything in my life, and something shitty happens, instead of saying, oh, like you miss a flight, for example, because you're late to the airport, instead of thinking, oh, that fucking traffic, the bastard was in front of me was driving like a little grandma. Instead of doing that, you'll be like, oh, you know what? I created the circumstance. What was I vibrating? What was I thinking? What emotion was I emitting into the universe? Because obviously it wasn't constructive because of this circumstance which I'm not happy with. And then you will shift your focus. You'll try to get into a better state, into a better feeling. And I think that's like a chain which will create better circumstances in your life. And then now you realize that your changed state of mind caused the improvement in the circumstance. And that feeds on itself in a positive way. Does that make sense? In my head, all this shit makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, actually. I hope I'm explaining it well. Let me just look at this one last time. The more you take responsibility for what you experience, the more you'll notice you experience situations and circumstances which bend in your favor. Exactly. So if it's a bad circumstance and you take responsibility, you realize that you created it, and so you will change your thinking to improve the circumstance. And if it's a good circumstance, you will be thankful and grateful, and you will pat yourself on the back for creating that favorable circumstance. And you will just keep emitting that same emotion, and it's like you're gonna, because since it was a good thing, you'll keep doing it again. If it's something bad, you will catch it, correct it, and you'll change to the good in terms of the right way of thinking. And when you keep patting yourself on the back, you want to do something more, because when somebody encourages you to do something, you want to do it more. And so if you encourage yourself because you're doing something right, you will do it more. That's what the author was trying to say, I guess. Makes sense. Hope it makes sense to you guys too.